Hey guys, welcome to Infinite Sky. And yesterday afternoon in the Ahmedabad, something big happened that made the whole country mourn. Air India's flight crashed as soon as it took off. After that, the pictures that came in front of me, I was shocked to see them. But how did all this happen? Let's understand the whole story in detail in today's video. On 12 June 2025, Ahmedabad, Gujarat, India, there is an international airport named Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel International Airport. Here, there is a single runway in this airport whose length is 3,505 meters. That is 11,499 feet long in length. On 12 June 2025, the Air India Flight 171 was about to take off from this runway. At 1 o'clock, 230 passengers started boarding in Flight 171. Among these passengers, the former Chief Minister of Gujarat State was in this plane. Among these 230 passengers, there were 11 children and 2 children were newly born. Their age must have been less than a year. Gradually, all the passengers boarded the plane. Apart from these passengers, there were 2 pilots and 10 crew members. The flight was commanded by Captain Sumit Sabharwal and First Officer Clive Kundar. Airport temperature was about 35 to 40 degrees Celsius. The ground staff was putting the passengers' luggage in the cargo hold. After all the inspections, the ATC gave the plane permission to take off from runway 23. Now slowly the plane was pushed back. After this, it went towards the runway. Soon it was running at high speed on the runway. Leaving the runway, it started to rise in the air, and slowly it started gaining its altitude, 400 feet, 500 feet. Then something went wrong in the plane. This plane started falling down instead of getting up. But why and how? No one knew. Just 30 seconds after the plane took off, this plane collided with the roof of BJ Medical College. Here the tail of the plane broke and got stuck, and the rest of the plane crashed while breaking some more houses. Now, because the tank of the plane was heavily filled with fuel, so immediately after the crash, a fireball spread in the sky. The people around me filmed this whole incident in their camera. Many people also sent me those clips, and believe me friends, my soul trembled after seeing it. There were such pictures and such burnt pictures comes in front of me that I can't even show them here. The firefighters did reach on time, but they also took a long time. The rescue work continued for hours. There was a scream all around. I always say this in my video that people don't die because of the plane crash, but the fire after the crash burns people alive and kills them. And everyone becomes helpless in such a terrible fire breakout. If someone tries to save the passenger's life, how can he save them? Until the fire is extinguished, people cannot be saved. And by the time the fire is extinguished, it will be too late. According to the report so far, out of 242 people, only one person survived this incident. He just got minor injuries. After the crash, he came out walking on his feet, and this is a miracle. Right now when I'm recording this video, I have received information that only one passenger has survived. It is estimated that 269 people were killed in this incident. In addition to the people on the plane, 28 people have been confirmed to have died on the ground. This is the first fatal crash and first hull loss involving a Boeing 787 since its introduction in 2011. We pray that the souls of all those killed in the accident get peace. Let's talk about the damage to the ground. The plane collided with a building of a medical college hostel, and it also damaged different buildings of the campus. And the way there was a fire breakout in that area, not even a small piece of tin was left. As per the report, 269 bodies have been recovered. A 40-year-old British national escaped and was the sole survivor from the plane. He had been on seat 11A, next to an emergency exit. He was sitting on seat 11A on the plane, just one seat ahead of the emergency exit door. His brother was also on the same plane, but unfortunately his life could not be saved. Hundreds of such people's stories were buried in this incident. After understanding this whole story, after observing the videos on social media, I tried to understand this case. Now, the details that I'm going to keep in front of you. After seeing all initial videos, I've investigated it on my side. It is possible that The official report of this incident should be a little different from this. Let's start the investigation with Flight Radar 24. Its job is to track all the planes flying on the ground. This radar communicates with the ADS-B transponder on the plane and finds out the location in real time. This radar recorded everything from the taxiing of Flight 171 to takeoff. But as soon as this plane reached to 625 feet, it was disconnected from the transponder of the radar plane. Now there's no building at a height of 625 feet that it collides with it and the connection of the radar breaks. Before the crash, something must have happened in the plane, due to which the transponder of the plane stopped and the Flight Radar 24 was disconnected. But what can stop it? Well, any electronic device runs on electricity and gets electricity from the plane's engine. What if there's a problem in its engine? Friends, in such a case, electricity will stop in the plane. Or there could be some kind of electric failure. But in electric failure, the plane will not fall down. The biggest proof of this is that we have these videos, where we can see that the plane is slowly coming down, and this can only happen when the engine is not generating power. So keeping all these things in mind, we can say that there must have been a problem in the plane before the plane crashed. Maybe engine failure. If we look carefully at this video, maybe this is a ram air turbine, and this ram air turbine starts working automatically when both engines of the plane fail. Although it's not clearly visible in this video, but if this is a ram air turbine, then I can say with confidence that both the engines of the plane have failed. Then I can say with confidence that both the engines of the plane must have failed. So keeping all these things in mind, we can say that there must have been a problem in the plane even before it crashed. Now, you must be thinking that I'm saying all these things by guessing or just imagination. But this is not the case, friends. We got the biggest proof of this after a few hours of the incident happened, when the ATC said that Flight 171 did a mayday call. The mayday call is done when there is a danger in the plane, due to which the plane can crash. It means that when this mayday call is done, the plane must have been at the end of the runway, and there must have been a mistake somewhere here. That means the mistake must have started from here. But another question arises here on the pilot. If the pilot had already known, then why did he fly? Why didn't he apply the brakes and stop the plane? To understand this, we will also have to understand a little about the speed of the plane. A plane has to pass through 3 ranges of speed before taking off: V1, VR and V2. When the plane is running on the runway at V1 speed, this is the last speed range for the pilot when he has to decide whether to stop the plane or take off. If there is an emergency at this speed, the pilot can apply the brakes and stop the plane. But after crossing this speed range, the plane reaches the VR speed. At this speed, the plane's nose started struggling to get up, leaving the runway. But when the plane crosses VR speed, it reaches the V2 speed. This is the speed of the plane when the plane goes into safe mode. Let's suppose if there's an emergency in this altitude. Suppose an engine of the plane fails. The plane can still fly at V2 speed with the help of one engine. There will be no problem. Now, after understanding all 3 speed range, now we can focus on the VR speed range of the plane. When the plane runs a little distance on the runway and about to rise up in the air, this is such a condition that if there's an emergency in VR speed, let's say an engine fails, the pilot will not be able to apply the brake because of the speed of the plane will be so high that it will not be able to stop the plane nor lift the plane above. Even the plane speed is more than V1 speed, but this speed is not enough to fly the plane with the help of one engine. In both the cases, the plane will crash. That's why during takeoff, the biggest danger in the plane is when the plane is in VR speed. Neither the plane will be able to apply the brakes, nor will he able to lift the plane up. In the case of an engine failure, if we understand the entire case of Air India Flight 171, then we will understand that if the engine failed in Air India, then that engine failure would have happened at the time when the plane was in VR speed. That means at the end of the runway. And at that same time the pilot have done a mayday call. It means the plane must have been in VR speed. And there was a problem in one engine or both engines, and in this situation plane could neither take off nor could the pilot apply the brakes. Even this was the time when the ADS-B radar was shut down. The whole story of this incident fits on my theory. Apart from this, there was also a hot weather. The temperature in the airport must have been around 35 to 40 degrees. By parking in the sun for so long, the temperature of the fuel tank of the plane must have increased a lot. Maybe that's why it didn't take long time to catch fire. In addition to this, we can see some other details in these videos, and the confirmation of these details can only be done after the investigation. For example, if we look at the wings of the plane during takeoff, it seems that the flaps of the plane are set at 0. The flap is normally set at 1 or 2, it depends on the length of the runway. The length of the runway in Ahmedabad has more than 11,000 feet. It means the length of the runway was enough to fly planes like Boeing 787. On such a long runway, it can be flown with less flaps. But the video that is going viral on the internet, it has been recorded from a monitor screen. That's why the plane's flaps are not clearly visible. It could be possible that the plane's flap is at minimum and not at 0, or it could be at 0. But during takeoff, if the flap is at 0, then an alarm starts ringing in the cockpit. That's why I don't think the pilot would have taken off at a 0 flap. We can see a shocking detail in the plane's landing gear. There was a constant increasing drag in the plane. The speed of the plane was continuously decreasing. In this case, the pilot left the landing gear down. However, by lifting it up, it does not happen that the plane is saved. Maybe in such a case the pilot panicked, listening to many noises and the alarms. Maybe the pilot did not pay attention towards the landing gear. Now we have to see that if there was a problem in the engine, then why did it happen? How did it happen? However, eyewitnesses say that multiple explosions were heard during the takeoff, and in the meantime, smoke was also noticed in the engine. Maybe it could be a bird strike or some technical malfunction in the engine. So friends, I hope you have understood the whole incident. There's still a lot to know. Maybe by the end of this year, the investigation report of this case will come in front of us. At that time, we will discuss it in more detail. That's all for now in this video. If there's any major update about this incident, I will make a video on it too. You can stay connected with us for this. If you like the video, like it. If you don't like it, dislike it. And in both cases, subscribe to this channel because there's a lot to learn in this channel. So I will meet you in the next video. Until then, keep watching and keep learning.